we have seen that holy day is a pious instance where the mundane perspective is shelled off, smashed off by holy, a practice to get back to our source, the consciousness of Yada. Every year has 12 months. This is a physical representation, a logical representation, probably physically expressed, for a non-physical concept within. Year is said as Samvatsara in the language Samskrita. Samyak Vasanti Atra, where 12 characteristics of practice, Masa, month is a Masa, that also we have seen. 12 practices, courses of practice are 12 months. Masa is a measure. Measure of 12 courses is, and where the 12 courses dwell is Samvatsara, a characteristic year. Out of this, we have also seen that in every Masa, month, characteristic month, there are two holy days. One is new moon, another is full moon. We have seen the concept in the earlier discourse. Now, as per the moon way of following here in Sanskrit language, we are at present in Kaartiika Masa, a measure of Kaartiika. All the 12 measures expound a very good practice. This Kaartiika is something to do about Karta, that is the doer. The concept of doer explained as a non-physical measure for us to sustain eternally. And let us understand this through an example. We have a fan in the house, a lamp, electricity bulb, a heater, and so many electrical appliances, a geyser and all in our house. We always go on recapitulating, talking in terms of the utility we make. A lamp giving light, fan giving air, geyser giving us hot water, heater using it for cooking. This type of mundane terms we use. But we should know that all are working on one entity, the current, electric current it is. We never talk in terms of the electricity. We only talk in terms of the utilities we make, the external utilities, mundane utilities we make. This is where we make a mistake. More in the subjective field, we make this mistake. This electricity current, all the physical terms are reflections of the internal non-physical feature. We have seen this Yada. Be in union with Yada characteristics is Vidyut. And conducting and revelation of that conducting for us is electromagnetism. This is what we have seen in the earlier discourses. Now, just as we say it is current, current is a current affair. So every conduct we have, every feature that we have physically is a current of the inner non-physical electromagnetism. It's a current of that. But we talk in terms of the external features. Same way, even with the senses of the physical body, all these are currents of the source electromagnetism. We talk in terms of walking with the legs, talking with the mouth, seeing with the eyes, listening with the ears, and so on. External terms we use, or even more, receiving the external objects, receiving the external sounds, receiving the external touch. We go more on the external side than go inside. This is what we are doing it. Here, this current has electromotive force. Electricity has a motive force. Same way, this is again a physical reflection of the internal, non-physical. This consciousness of yada is the electricity, non-physical electricity, having a motive force through the physical body. Motive force is a ray trying to conduct externally and make the man feel that ray alone, not the external features. But man is feeling the external feature, not feeling the ray. This is the mistake. Okay, now see an example. When this stick is held in a mundane perspective, we see this stick here, hand is here, everybody sees here. It's an object of seeing. It's a view. Everybody can see. If this eye also follows the same as the others do it, then what happens is he will say, I am holding the stick. I am holding the stick. Look, in this statement, he gets into a doership of holding a stick in his hand. It is I who hold the stick. The doership is coming. Okay, this is mundane perspective. But going to the reality, what is happening? The yada, the consciousness coming as a ray onto the hand, under the grip, the man, I, is sensing the ray alone, ray of the consciousness of yada alone. Sensing, the ray is sensing itself. The consciousness is sensing itself. It is not doing any other job. So in this course, there is no doership. We may call it as an activation or a job. It's not a job. It's not an activation, because this consciousness is feeling its own self, nothing else. Now comparing with say, I am holding this stick. I hold. This is the held one. I am holding as a doer. This is a doership. It's a measure of doership. Measure of doership. But when I say, and the grip, I feel my own consciousness. There is no measure of doership. This is karta. Just as we have seen in the example, this electricity which is flowing right through in all the appliances that we have, there is no doership. It's just flowing. And without that, no appliance works. But all the appliances give us some doership, make us enjoyers also. but the current is not doing it. But that current has to be generated and then supplied. And once the generation is stopped, no supply. That contingency is there with external electricity. But this non-physical electromagnetism, the consciousness of Yada, has no generation and it doesn't stop. It has a doership free of activation. Doership free of activation. That is Kaartiika. The universe is a doership free of activation. We say that activation is a job, external work. External work is no activation. Activation is activating the inner consciousness to reach the job, and there the mundane doership should be shunned, so that the doership free activation is to be comprehended and enjoyed. You see the difference? This is Kaartiika Masa, measure of doership free activation. And in this Masa, our characteristic month, we have the new moon day and full moon day. In the full moon day, as we have seen, the earth is in the center. Here is the sun. Here is the moon. It receives both the rays. It is able to be compatible to both. This is a course of practice. Generally, this is hot, this is cool. This is hot in the sense it is directly coming. It has to be resisted by a course of practice. And that course of practice is always cool for us. So, this Pournamii, it is called full accomplishment. This accomplished approach balances both, receives the course, receives the rays of consciousness of Yada as they are, and then try to balance within itself by its own course, and then make amicable both, compatible both, so that the earth is compatible, so that the man is compatible, so that his earth from intelligence correction to the senses are all compatible to the design, to the doership free activation, a measure of doership free activation, compatibility. This is Kaartiika Pournamii. In this type of non-physical counting, vis-a-vis applied onto the physics in India, people today are in Kaartiika Pournamii. Kaartiika Pournamii physically has just passed to third day today. Third day passed. Again, physically, in this same Masa, characteristic month, we get Amaavaasya, Kaartiika Amaavaasya. Amaavaasya is new moon day. As we have seen, Amaavaasya, new moon, earth is here, sun is here, and moon is here. Here what we see is earth is getting a shadow of the moon. That is its own practice, shadow of its own practice, a death of its practice, exposed by its source, the consciousness of Yada, the sun. That is, the sun is exposing the depth of practice which the earth is entertaining, is exposing. Man gets pain. His pain cultivates him. So there is a preaching. But there is a preaching, and also it is, if it is of Kaartiika, he feels that he should correct himself. Correcting himself is free of doership. If we do something else or help somebody else, we may feel doership or feel proud, egoistic. But once a man tries to correct himself, it is free of doership on his own self. It is because his mistake is troubling him. It is his own feeling, it is his own comprehension, it is troubling him. Once he corrects it, that terminates to be, that elevates to be his real ray, and then he is able to feel his own ray, receive his own ray. So it's a preaching again. So there's no doership here. So thus characteristic month Kaartiika is both the ways, full-fledged by way of practicing and amicability between practice and the source. And the other way is practice, depth of practice, and then man is trying to put back for cultivation to practice, where he finds himself elevated. In both the ways, it is free from doership. This is Kaartiika Pournamii. You feel the difference. In the future discourses, we will deal with other months also, and more about Parvadina. Let's meet again.